All right, welcome back. Let's roll right into week 4. And the tip for week 4 is it's really like, it's an oldie but a goodie, all right? This is a study that was done some years ago by Dr. Christopher Kent and a few other docs who actually, they put a woman into a functional MRI unit to measure the activity of her brain when she moved her left ankle. And so you'll see when you look at this tip that the top picture will show a ton of activity taking place when she did this simple act. They pulled her out of the unit, adjusted her upper cervical spine, put her back into the unit, and had her do the same exact act. And what you'll see in the bottom picture is you'll see that the activity was significantly decreased. The reason this one is so important, because obviously what it helps us to understand is efficiency. That the chiropractic adjustment helps the body to become more efficient in what you do. Imagine this, okay? Think about this. Imagine that you can do the same thing with less energy. How simple is that? Do the same thing with less energy. Because that's what happened here. She moved her foot, used a ton of brain energy. Moved her foot again, post-adjustment, and barely used any energy at all. It's about efficiency. So this opens up an efficiency conversation, which also has to do with what? Energy. People want to have more energy today. Why? Because they're running around, they're on the go all the time. So this is an opportunity to open the door to talk about energy and how impactful the chiropractic adjustment is in making your body more efficient in how it works. Now, equally as important is this also opens up the door to talk about ADD and ADHD. It's so important to understand, as I heard long ago, that the way we describe it is a race car brain with bicycle brakes. So what we have to do is work the brakes. And a part of those brakes is an area of the brain known as the vermis. And the upper cervical spine, by doing adjustments in that area, we help to stimulate the vermis. We actually help it to pump the brakes, to strengthen the brakes. So it opens up a conversation for you to be able to talk about both of these things with your patients. It opens up a conversation for them to have a deeper understanding of how this adjustment affects the brain. And after all, as a master controller, it controls everything. So I'm really excited about this tip. I'm really passionate about this one. So it's one that I think you'll always find is very helpful. We use it in our healthcare classes as well, because when people, it's great to see their response when you share this tip. It kind of goes under the category of, did you know? And you get to share this information. So CAs, what are we talking about here? When communication CA, when you sit down on Monday, you're talking about, look, we're handing this out to everybody, right? But you got to be able to explain that here's what happened. Functional MRI, did the adjustment, came out, and went back in, and there was less energy used by the brain compared to the beginning when this thing was lit up like a Christmas tree. So we have to be able to talk about it, but the most important thing is to get this into people's hands. Say, Mary, man, I know you're always talking about energy. I think you're going to love this week's tip. Joe, don't forget this week's tip. It's really good. It's about energy. Hey, Marianne, don't forget this week's tip. Doc's going to talk to you about this one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Get it in their hands, period. And then when they go to the adjustment rooms, docs, it's on you. Mary, did you get a chance to read this week's tip? Joe, did you get a chance to read this tip? And it's the same thing. You start to see the repetitiveness of this that needs to become just second nature, right? So, no, I did not read it. Oh, man, this is a good one. Like this one, you're going to absolutely love this one. It's about energy, and I think you're going to absolutely love it. So let me share it with you now. You don't need a 30-minute discussion on this. Get to the points. Share it. Do you know, and if you want to take it down that referral side, do you know anybody who seems to have low energy? Do you know anybody who seems like they're run down all the time? Wouldn't it be great to go ahead and help them be more efficient in how they're using that energy through the course of a day? Maybe we should get them checked. Would you mind taking this with you to your work and sharing this and distributing this with people at work? Would you mind taking this home with you and sharing it with a friend? Again, these are strategically placed. You just have to be aware. If you're in present time consciousness and you're focused while you're adjusting, when these moments come up, you're going to request that they take this tip with them to their work or home and pass it on to friends. So docs, you got to be in the moment, and you got to pay attention. Communication CA, this is why at the end of the day or at the end of a morning shift, you have a talk with your doc that says, look man, you were talking baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet today. You got to get your head in the game this afternoon. You got to be talking about what matters, and what matters is why they're here, and what matters is that we help to increase their certainty, so we increase their retention. If we do that, they stay around longer, they get better results, and they live a healthier, happier life. Boom! So we have to remember that. So docs, if they didn't read it, share the information with them. If they did read it, great, what was your takeaway? How did this make sense to you? Do you understand what they're talking about? Like, just have a dialogue with them. So instead of talking about baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet, talk to them about the tip of the week. Talk to them about how it impacts their life, their health. Always bring it back around to them, because that's what's important to them at the end of the day, is themselves. That's speaking to the old brain, that's connecting with them, and it's helping to raise their certainty in what it is that you're doing in the office. So get to work on this one. Obviously, go through the procedures and the process that we talked about earlier to make sure this thing is solid and ready to go. And then Communication CA, Monday morning, be ready to launch this one. Have it done by the end of the week, be ready to launch so we can share it with our patients and our team. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.